You are now live with me, G3, and tonight we are going to have a storyteller, but she tells her stories through music. She is none other than the hitmaker herself, Moira Dela Torre. But before we get to her, I want to thank my sponsors on Live with G3. I want to thank Evian, my water sponsor. I want to thank Swatch PH for my timepieces. I want to thank Tita Virgie Ramos. If you want to get your Swatch timepieces, you may go to Swatch PH stores or Lazada PH. I want to greet my Bello family a happy 31st anniversary, Dr. Vicky Bello. Hi. I also want to thank Asian Eye Institute for all of my eyewear and lenses needs. I want to thank Centro Holistico for my TCM needs. And I want to thank Headway Vera Salon for my salon needs. Okay, so hi everyone. Let's see if Moira is here. Hi, Mac Merla. Hello, Cornerstone. You know, every time I have a conversation with Moira Dela Torre, it's always a meaningful one. It may be brief, but I always learn something from her. So I've always wanted to have her on Live with G3. So let's see if she is here. Wala pa siya, Mac Merla. Wait, i-search ko, Moira. The whole night, I've been... Moira. Okay, wala pa siya, Mac Merla. Hi! Let's see muna who's here. So like the whole night, I've been listening to Moira Dela Torre songs and I've been reminiscing. I've been thinking about like all of my relationships and my breakups. Wait, I wanna promote pala our bagong ani, our avocados. Farm to Fork avocados. So if you wanna get our avocados for your avocado toast or whatever millennial, Gen Z, Gen X recipe, you may order from farmtofork.ph on Instagram. Hi! Let's see if she is already here. Teka. Hanapin na. Mac! Moira. Ayun na siya. I saw her na. Moira. The very beautiful, the very soulful, the very, very, very heartfelt Moira Dela Torre. Hi!
Hi, ate!
Sobrang cute mo naman ngayon.
Naglilipat po ako eh.
Naglilipat ka? Saan ka lilipat?
We moved to a townhouse recently. We needed bigger space and we wanted to have our own studio. So yeah, we moved out of our condo.
That's very cool. So you live in a house now.
Yeah, first time to live in a house in Manila.
Pretty exciting. Pretty exciting. What happens when you move into a house after you move into a condo? Who does the arranging and what part of the decor is yours and what part is Jason's?
Actually, when we moved into our condo, Jason was hands-on with everything, with the design, with the interior, with the cut, everything. He was the one hands-on. I'm more of the organizing type and the editor. Parang Jason asked me, "Do you like this?" And I'm like, "No." But then we always try to meet in the middle. But it's more him with the design and me with organizing.
What would you say are similar in terms of taste and what would you say are different?
I think we're pretty similar majority of the thing, but I think like last night he wanted to say he sat me down and said, "Babe, I have a very serious question to ask. Can I just play my bike in the sala?" I'm like, "No." It's over. Tapos medyo nagtampo siya, but I don't care. I'm just kidding. I said, let's bring it upstairs because he gave me a little library nook, and I was like, you can set it right next to my library nook. So we found a nice compromise.
very cute. Like sports side by side with literature. I know that you love to read. We've discussed about books, diba? Parang I saw your post earlier. You have new acquisitions. What are the things that you are reading right now?
I recently started a daily stoic, like what we talked about.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And I finished Stillness is Key. Um, I also finished Atomic Habits. Now I'm getting ready to read Love in a Time of Cholera.
Oh my
Um,
God, ang bigat niyan.
sabi nga nila, but I'm getting ready to write, and I really want inspiration that from my lola, because my lola, one of her favorite books was Love in a Time of Cholera, and I didn't even know this until after I bought it. And when I did, my mom replied, and it was kind of like an answered prayer for me, because I recently, as I write my album, with all the songs that I've written for both albums, there's always one song about my lola. Like Take Her to the Moon for Malaya, and then Sabi ng Lola for Patawad. And so for this spring, I really want something by my lola, and then I didn't know how or where to start, because I feel like I've already said everything that I feel like I needed to say. But then I got this book from Omniana, and yeah, it's pretty cool. I'm very excited to start it.
Marami siyang parallel sa current time. Kasi diba, love in the time of cholera, love in the time of COVID. And I
Yeah,
reread it again because I watched Serendipity on Netflix. And it's like,
love
alam
that.
mo, parang sobra siyang pivotal. But you know, like, the whole evening, I was telling my viewers kanina, I've been listening to your songs and it sort of like reminded every heartbreak. It reminded me of it because we were talking, diba? And I was telling you, parang, why do you have such a pulse on the pain of this generation, Generation X, Generation Y, Generation Z, and the millennials? Why do you think, Moira, nakuha mo, na pinpoint mo yung emotions ng current generations?
Uh, I think it's because I've always written in whatever season I find myself in. And what I've grown to understand, what I've come to understand as I was growing up, is that we're all fighting a familiar battle. Like, it's not like it's what you're going through, someone else is going through. And so if you write about it or if you talk about it, then one, you are able to express yourself and you are able to find an outlet, and two, you are able to show somebody that they are not alone. And I think because I write from experience, and I have yet to write about things that I really haven't gone through. I wish I could be a great songwriter someday that won't need experiences, but all of my songs I have personally gone through. Um, and so I feel like because it comes from a real place, a lot of people also come from the same places. And I think that's why.
I think that you're a very generous artist. Kasi tama ka naman eh. Like, things that you've gone through that you share, it resonates with others, diba? Parang every time I talk to you, I feel like I learn something new. And I'm so much older than you are, but I feel like you are a teacher in some way. I remember we were sitting down at Julia's party and you were telling me, parang, oh my God, I didn't even know that Jason was gonna be the one. And you talked to me, like I was like completely a stranger, and you talked to me about your love story. Sorry, my dog is snoring, ha? I'm gonna show you, ha? Every time I do my live,
Oh, it's so cute.
he's snoring. So if
Is that
he's
a
my
golden retriever?
no, he's a chow, but he's snoring. He's
Look at
snoring
it.
pretty loudly. If you hear,
Meron din ako dito. Ayaw niya umalis.
oh, ayaw niya umalis, pero sobrang ingay niya. Pero if you hear him snore, it's not me, snickering or whatever. But yes, like I was going back, we sat down together and you were telling me na parang si Jason, yung love story niyo, parang hindi mo siya in-expect, diba? Parang I'm sure you've told this story a million times, as you told me when you're practically strangers. But how did you know that Jason was the one for you?
Uh, I really don't know. It's just the peace. Because everyone naman, like, everyone you meet, you're, like, it's so easy to find the good in people. Like, it's
Mm.
easy to find something to love about a person na kahit na alam mong madaming red flags, ang titignan mo pa rin naman yung maganda eh. Kasi you wanna make that choice to love that person. But I think with the difference of Jason, bit, the difference of Jason and all the other people that I've dated, ang dami na, konti lang.
Ganda!
um, and the others is the peace. I cannot um I cannot ignore that with how Jason did it. There was so much peace, and he's been my friend and for 6 years prior to us finally feeling other things than friendship. So I know him and naging wingman niya pa ako ate. Naging wingman niya ako. Tapos ako pa nagpa-proofread ng mga messages niya. So medyo na-feel ko na sabi ko, teka lang, na-proofread ko to dati. Bakit sa akin mo sinisend? Um, na-feel ko na yun na may iba na. But with how he approached me, it felt like it was a different Jason. Because I knew like how he did it before. But this time, he also felt like he was being led rather than he was trying to force something that he knew wasn't right. So yeah, it's really peace. And so a lot of times na marami kasi yan eh kapag 'di ba yung love stories, it's either everyone celebrates it or it's us against the world. But
Oo.
regardless, you don't really find the approval of people. You just really find the peace of God. Like when you know, you know. And when you know it's time to fight for it, then you won't have to strive for it.
That's beautiful. I think divine approval is something that we should strive for in a relationship. I remember very vividly you were sitting down and you were telling me na parang I didn't even know like he was my friend and everything. Di ba parang a lot of people, wait, you have to watch pala Some Kind of Wonderful. Kasi yon friendship to ano. Napanood mo na ba yon?
Not yet.
Okay, you take it down, Some Kind of Wonderful. Anyway, there are a lot of girls that are in best friend relationships. Nakita na nila paano mo heartbroken yung best friend nila, yung kaibigan nila na lalaki. Nakita na nila how the guy acts around girls that they like. And of course, they never know that deep inside, di ba, parang they have feelings for the guy. Di ba? Parang when you suddenly feel something for your friend, as someone who has gone through it, how do you deal with that feeling, even though your friend doesn't know how you feel about him yet?
Please repeat the question.
So, kunyari, di ba, meron kang, parang sa inyo ni Jason, ikaw yung friend niya, may nililigawan siya, parati ikaw yung kinikwentuhan. Alam mo na yung style ng friend mo kasi friend mo siya. Tapos biglang ikaw yung stinailan. Ano yung mafe-feel mo? At ano yung dapat mong gawin?
Honestly, ate kami, cringe. Ilang beses kami nag-cringe. Cringe talaga kami. May nakakatawa yung line na gusto kita sa we have this new song with Ben and Ben called Pasalubong.
Yes.
And it's about a friendship and falling in love with your friend and how what it's really end with 2 words and it's gusto kita. Yung last 2 lines na yon si Jason yung naglagay nun. And honestly, ginawa niya talaga sa akin yun. So, there was a...
So, punong ka nung sinabi mo yun.
Gumanon ako. Pero the way kasi he said it, sobrang nakakatawa. So, what happened was, oh no, it's raining. I'm sorry.
It's raining also, yeah.
Okay, so what did he do? He asked me if I can hang out with him and his friends. And then, biglang kailangan umalis ng friends namin. Tapos, he brought me to this cafe, and he said I have to lay down my intentions because I want everything to be clear. Tapos, si Jason, goofy kasi siya. So, sabi niya, uh, well, gusto kita, yok!
Kasama yung yak, kasama yung yak.
Parang, gumagaling siya. Tapos, tawang-tawa lang kaming dalawa. And then he said, but I want you to take the time to pray about it. I don't want you to rush anything. I want you to really pray about it because I prayed about it. And I have all the confidence. I will wait until you're ready. Ganyan. So, it took me about a month before allowing him to court me.
Formally. Yeah,
To
formally court.
court me. But also, ate, even before I allowed him to court me, I already knew I was gonna marry him. So,
Paano? Paano mo nalaman? Anong binigay sa yung divine message?
well, I don't know.
Alam mo si Jason? Si
Like,
Jason,
there
I've only seen him like a couple of times. Lalaking lalaki si Jason, no? Na parang he's the guy na parang hindi mo siya like outwardly, like parang, oh my God, super. Pero pag nakita mo, that's kung in-observe mo siya. And the way he looks at you when you're performing together, the way, sabi ko, ay, si girl, napakaganda. Napakaganda ni girl. Napakaganda ni girl. Ang haba na hair. When you first kissed, what was the feeling like?
I was so terrified. Because he wasn't my first kiss.
Of course, nagka-boyfriend ka na, di ba?
Yeah, but with how we waited, it was very scary for me because ako, honestly, I really wanted. I didn't want to wait for
Bakit?
wala lang. Ay, ako. But Jason said na parang I don't want to risk anything because I only get to do things right this one last time. And I want to give you that. And like he just wanted to go old fashioned. He wanted to give me the whole package. And then on our wedding, actually, ate, I didn't really cry. I cried in my vows, but I was holding back. I cried in the middle of my vows. And then I didn't cry until after our kiss when I realized, oh my gosh, I'm married. It's done. But yeah.
Wait, I'm gonna give you a chance to say hi to your friends, your fans that have been making papansin to you kanina pa.
Oh, hi. Okay. Hello. Hi, it's Jess, Your Highness. James Binondo. Trust in the Lord.
I wanna talk about your songs kasi ako talaga parang ako, like parang ayaw kitang pakinggan kasi nasasaktan ako. Naaalala ko yung but syempre tagpuan 32 million views. Paubaya 30 million views. I've always wanted to ask you this. How were you able to convince Joshua and Julia to star in your music video given that they were broken up at the time and it was such a fantastic video na parang sabi ko, oh my God, ang raw nito. Parang may script ba to? Parang wala. How were you able to convince Josh and Julia? I know that you're friends with Jules. We always see each other in her birthday parties. But how are you able to convince them to star in your video, Paubaya? Did I freeze?
No.
Did I? Ayan.
Did I?
Hello,
Freeze?
can you hear me?
Yes. I can.
Ayan, can you hear me? Did you hear my question?
Yes, I did.
Sige, how are you able to convince the two of them?
I just asked Julia once lang, and I sent her the voice memo of the song, and she immediately said yes. There weren't really any reason that I gave. It's just like, Jules, I really see you and Josh doing this. Can you do it? And she's like, sure. And and
He's
then
always so game, no?
he's
Oo.
always game. And then I went to Josh. I messaged Josh, and then he listened to the song for the first time live.
Oo.
We were having a taping, and he was there. And then Jason asked him, and he said, "Bro, game ako dyan." And then it wasn't really a big thing. It was just they've been great friends of ours, and
Hmm.
um, they had full creative freedom with me and Jason as we did the whole music video. We presented everything to them. We wrote the scripts together. It was a really, really nice time. Like, we all enjoyed it thoroughly. Like, pag nag, pag nagtitape na, lahat kami umiyak kahit sa backstage. Tapos, lahat talaga ata, iyak kami ng iyak down to the guards of the church, lahat umiyak. And then, pag-cut na, tawa lang ng tawa lahat. So, it was such a light set. So, you really see how much they've matured, how much they have grown, and how much respect they have for each other.
Saka naalala ko, kumakanta ka nung naging sila, di ba? Nung nagsasayaw sila. It was you. You were the soundtrack at the beginning of their love affair. So sabi ko, it's very appropriate. Ends and begins with Moira.
That's what they said.
Diba? Ends and begins with Moira. Maraming naniwala sa advice mo na parang, sige, paubaya. Pero anong masasabi mo, Moira, sa mga taong ayaw magpaubaya? Yung pinaglalaban nila, yung pagmamahal nila, na kahit na sobrang pinagtatabuyan na sila, no, I will fight for my love for you. Paubaya is a song that, resonates deeply to a lot of people that, have gone through that. But there are also people that do not want to make paubaya. For those that do not want to make paubaya and want to fight for their love for the other person, what advice can you give?
For me, if you have peace, then I have nothing else to say. You fight all the way if you have peace. But if you don't, I pray that you would start knowing your worth. Because paubaya is about knowing what you are worth. And you are worth greater things.
That's
And yeah.
so, di ba, pakawalan mo na siya. And then, it gives you time and space for somebody that is really meant for you to come into your life. Di ba?
Yeah.
I think the messaging of your songs, the communication of your music is very, very, appropriate to the current generations because this is such a feeling generation. Your generation is such a feeling generation. Why do you think that people of your generation is such a feeling generation? Yung masyadong in touch, yung sobrang sensitive, mabilis ma-offend, mabilis masaktan, mabilis naman maka-move on. Why do you think your generation is so in touch with their feelings?
Grabe naman ata. Parang Miss Universe. uh, I feel like it's because we are the social media generation. I think it has something to. Oops, I lost you.
I can hear
Okay.
you. I can hear you. Malakas yung ulan dyan, no?
Oh, um, I feel like I feel like it has something to do with us being a social media generation, where it's all fast paced and it's all on.
Hmm.
So we tend to always be on the hunt for something real. And the moment we are in touch of, something that sparks our emotion, we grab it. We take it because we want something real. And I think that goes for everyone, but I think it's just more for this generation because we're the ones who are on our phones and on our screens 24/7. There's not really much physical interaction anymore as much as they used to before. I don't know. That's just my theory.
That's true. That's true. I think you're more in touch, and I think communication is very different now. It's within your reach. As in, like, kasi before, I'm Gen Xer. my generation, you literally had to wait like days before you get a
Yeah.
reply for someone. So imagine the torture. Ikaw nga, like 1 hour hindi mag-reply sa'yo. Parang, bakit hindi ka nag-reply 1 hour? But like during my time, it would take like a weekend before you get a
Yeah.
reply. And it
Or you
taught
wait for
us
a,
patience.
yeah.
It taught us patience and everything. But I think more importantly, I mean, your success is a reflection of, the sentimentality that is, that crosses borders, that crosses generations. We are very sentimental in our generation, in the same way that, my parents' generation was very
Yeah.
sentimental. Your generation was very sentimental. I'm talking about timelessness, and you were able to pinpoint that at a time when the world changed. But you cannot deny the fact that, we all went through, were essentially the same, but the world changed. Diba? You released your album Patawad in March of 2020 at the height of the beginning of the pandemic. What were your expectations when you released your album?
Actually, everyone was against it.
Mm.
No one wanted me to release during the pandemic because they said the shows are gonna be canceled. We're not gonna be able to promote. Also, we wanna be, also sensitive, which I completely understood. We were supposed to release in March, but we released in May instead.
Mm.
Um, and to me, the reason why I pushed for it was because I always say this, that I feel like my purpose for my music is for it to be a friend to the people, the kind of friend that I didn't get to have when I was going through those things. And so for me, I really wanted it to be out already when everyone was in lockdown, so that people can have some sort of companion. So I can help give comfort, even just to the listeners that would choose to listen to my song. Um, Also, it's annoying. It was really tough because it was such a sensitive thing at that time, to release, especially when the pandemic was starting. But people received it, and I get so many messages. I got so many messages before, and those few messages that I got the first few
Mhm.
days that it was released, it felt so worth it already. Um, yeah.
When you get this sort of feedback, what do you feel? Do you feel validation in some way? Do you feel that, parang you make a difference somehow? Because I know that you have your own battles, diba? Like as an artist, diba, we always put out things and we don't know how it's going to be received, especially when the world is ever changing. But when you stay true to who you are, and you release something that is from the heart, diba, you know that it resonates. How do you feel when you release something and you don't know exactly how people are going to receive?
I'm just excited. Everything naman that I released, that I wrote or Jason wrote, I'm very, very proud of. And also comes from a very real place for us. And so every time I release something, whether or not it becomes a hit, it brings so much healing to me. And I know that it's brought healing to a lot of people, even if it didn't
Yeah.
become like a hit. Um, I I always try to consciously. I mean, it's my career, it's my path. So I would love to be successful, but at the same time, I always try to consciously not make it about the numbers, because
Mm.
one, if I start making it about the numbers, then it's gonna affect my mental health. It's gonna affect the way I write. It's not gonna come from a place where I really came from, but it's gonna come from a place of wanting to please other people. Um, and so that's not really a nice place when the epitome of your songs is made from authenticity. So yeah, I that's what I try to do.
I think, di ba, parang especially at our time, it doesn't matter what generation you come from, especially now that we're going through a third lockdown. When you're isolated, you're forced to look at your life, you're forced to look at yourself, and it brings up a lot of questions, diba? And it brings up a lot of depression. It brings up a lot of, parang things that you don't really want to discuss. I mean, like, as a mental health advocate yourself, diba? Parang you've gone through this and we've talked about it several times. I mean, like, what are the pieces of advice that you can give to people going through self-doubt, questioning, sadness, depression, especially at a time like this?
Um, I well, there's a lot. One, the very first is um, don't be afraid to ask for help. Uh,
Hmm.
that what you are feeling is valid. It's not, or you are not alienated from all of this. A lot of other people are going through it. Second, try to be as practical as you can. Like I, I have a bullet journal. It's not here, but I have a I have a bullet journal, and in my bullet journal there are habit trackers, and I try to I know that it's not going to cure my clinical depression, but I know that you know at the end of the day, I will be able to say I did everything I could to take care of myself today, because I deserve it. I deserve the same care that I expect a loved one to give me.
Mm.
And third, um, pray. There's
True.
there's really hope. I recently got bashed for talking about depression as seasons. I know that it's not seasons, but that's how I choose to see
Ecclesiastes? Ecclesiastes ba yung ginamit mo?
it. There's a
Okay.
time to cry. Um, there's a time for everything. And for me, when I think about because there are so many times at the end, I'm sure you know this, that you get so tired. Now, when is this gonna end? Kaya hanggang kailan ko ba kailangan bitbitin lahat ng to? But that's if you look at it as a burden. But if you start looking at it as a season that will pass, then you will start. I'm not saying that it is, but it's like a change of perspective. For me, it's really helped me so much. It's taught me to get the most of the season, and that was how Malaya was birthed. That's how
Mm.
Tagpuan, Saglit. That's how all these songs were birthed. Because even in the midst of that crazy season, where also in that time when I wrote Malaya, I was suicidal, and so in that time, when you're in that mode already, madilim na eh. Parang
Oo.
hindi mo na siya shake off of your head. But it, for me personally, it was possible to see it as baka sakaling makita kita ulit. I was talking to myself. It was actually a note to self that someday I'm gonna see my happy self again. I'm gonna see myself dreaming again, and I'm gonna see myself free again. And I think that's something that we we tend to lose hope in. Like, ang dali natin umasa pagdating sa love life, pagdating sa career, but when it comes to hoping for yourself, it's such a hard thing to do because we are so critical of what we see in the mirror. We are so critical of
That's
our
true.
progress, even if we have so many little progresses, and we don't realize that it's created like such a big progress already. We don't see that. We only see the progress of other people, but we only see our faults. And that was where I was coming from when I wrote Malaya. And that's where I was coming from also when I wrote about um, changing perspectives and learning to trust God through the seasons, knowing that the hard days will pass.
That's very true. That's very true. Sometimes kasi, di ba, parang, like I was telling you before in one of our conversations, sabi ko parang, there are times that you get so tired, and there are times that you feel so hopeless and you feel like no one's listening to you, di ba? Parang ganun naman yung point, and ina-isolate ka talaga, sinasabi sa'yo in your head na wala kang kasama dito, di ba? Parang, why am I praying to this God? He doesn't even listen to me. He doesn't even know what I'm going through. But then again, like, where else will you turn, diba? So, I feel like it's very important to stress what we are saying, that you are never really truly alone. That whatever you go through, diba, there is a reason and there is a divine providence. There is a sovereign God looking over you, diba? Parang you are a perfect example of everything that has been going through in your life. You're able to, surpass, and like not just surpass, I mean triumph over, di ba? Parang yan yung natututunan ko sa'yo every time I talk to you. That parang nagdi-deepen yung understanding ko that there is like a divine, providence to everything that we're doing, to our purpose on earth, diba? I think that is your gift. And given this kind of gift, diba, how are you able to handle it? Kasi syempre, this is a very huge responsibility, and I feel that you are given so much influence over people that are in pain, over people that are depressed, suicidal, and everything. Diba? It's so much to take in when you're going through the same thing. But as an artist, able to influence and able to inspire, diba, Moira, where do you get your strength from?
God. That's really God. Um, I have come to learn, actually, Ate, if I may share, um,
Yes, please.
in the last 4 years, people would always message me. Kasi dumating na ako sa point na parang alam na ng tao lahat ng sakit ko. Lahat ng PCOS ko, uh, uh, clinical depression ko, psoriasis ko. Parang dumating na ako sa point na nahihiya na ako. Parang ang dami ng shame. But then, actually, I did an interview with Ate Tony.
I
And
saw that. Oh.
as she was talking to me and asking me questions, I was feeling so much shame. Like, do I share this? Am I gonna be honest today, or am I gonna act strong? And wala, ang galing na Ate Tony, nabali niya. So I was very honest. I wanted to be strong, but I told her my story as real and as raw. And after that, I remember feeling so heavy, and feeling so much shame. And then I would I got so many messages of people wanting to take their own lives, and then coming across the video, um and then
Ang
not
hirap yan. Oh.
pushing through it, and that made carrying the shame so worth it. I immediately took it off, and if my purpose was something else, then I should carry the shame. But my purpose is to be a friend and to um, share God's love and remind people that they are loved and that they are not alone. And so it was very easy to take off the shame. But recently, so in the last few years, I would get messages like that all the time. And then for the very first time, there was I think this was just 2 weeks ago, Ate. I met somebody, and she said that her best friend was a really big fan of mine, and her last post was my video. And there's so many things I don't understand, and I feel like I could have done more. Could have um she passed away because she was really depressed already. She couldn't go home, and then 2 days after she took her own life, her the travel ban was lifted, and she had 2 kids that she left. And for me, like, for me, it was
Hirap.
so hard. It was so hard to listen to that. it was so hard to, and I looked at her page, and her last post really was me, and her very words was, I was talking about hope, and
Mm.
her words were, I hear you, Moira. And wow, that was so heavy for me to hear. But if I didn't speak up about that, like, that's why I always encourage people, if you have a story to tell, say it. There's a reason why you went through all of this. Because I, like, the friend of that person, she said you were the last story of hope that she listened to.
Mm.
And so a lot of us, we have, you know, we have our own little worlds, and in our little worlds we have to be that messenger of hope. um and so if you have a story to tell, you have to say it. If you if you have if you if you're going through things, share it, because there's so much freedom and validation and so much healing when you know that you're not going through things alone.
There's strength in vulnerability. There is release. There is peace in sharing your story. I mean, you will not always be successful in terms of saving someone. That is not your job. Diba? Parang our job is to speak our truth, share our stories, and you are a brilliant, excellent, sincere, authentic storyteller. That is why you are a very successful artist. I feel like, di ba, parang when you sing your songs, I mean, it's no accident that people relate to it. You are the voice of your generation exactly because you are able to voice out your feelings and stuff like that. And it pains me to hear this story. It pains me so much, but it's gonna go either way, di ba? You don't know how your art is going to affect people, di ba? It's either it's you're gonna help save them, or you're not gonna be successful in saving them. I mean, 'di ba, parang it's you can never tell where it's going to lead to. The important thing is that you are sincere in your intentions, that you are very, very authentic in the way you present yourself. And this is a difficult question to ask, and I didn't know if I wanted to ask this in this interview, but I know that you are one of the teachers in the Nas Academy. And in the news today, Catriona Gray has halted all enrollment and stuff like that. And you are one of the teachers in that academy. I want to ask you how you feel about the issue, and I want to ask you what your course of action is given everything that has happened in the past few days in terms of preserving our iconic culture, in terms of the exploitation of the Filipino. Where do you stand in this issue?
I stand with Cornerstone and Kat. I We are definitely putting everything on hold.
Very good.
Um, so I don't know when mine is gonna push through. I definitely hear Wang Od's family. I understand where they are coming from completely. Um, I but I also know how I've come to know the NAS team. That
Mm.
was assigned to me. I know that they're a big team, but the team that was assigned to me, um, they're the kindest people. I feel like there were just a lot of things that weren't polished. Um,
Mm.
there were things that hindi siguro nakita. But with the team that I was assigned, I syempre I feel very very sad, but I also understand why it happened, and
Mm.
I also understand that we need to respect the culture of Wang Od, and um, but yeah, I feel though that with how I've come to know the Nash team, um, with how they were to me. I'll just speak for how they treated
Yes,
me, and how
of course.
we with how we were building my program. Um, they really what they really seek to do is to educate. That was
Mm.
the whole Nas Academy. Their hearts is really to educate, to empower, and to celebrate individuals. Um, with us, with how they were with me, I tend to have so many thoughts running in my head all at once.
Mm.
So when they were asking me questions, I told them everything, and then Lynn, I love her so much. She's a part of the NAS team, and she listened. They were such great listeners. They came to me. They came back to me for another meeting, and then she organized all my thoughts. And she said, "We are not gonna release this, or we are not gonna stop meeting until you are happy with what we are gonna show the people." So we had four meetings of just me what do you call this,
Collaborate,
revising,
going back and forth. Yeah.
collaborating, going back and forth, and yeah, we were supposed to go through the lesson plans next, but syempre that was put on hold because as much as I understand and as much as I love them, I have to stand by my people, and I have to uh yeah.
That's very beautifully said and very intelligently said. I mean, like, syempre, di ba, I'm also, I don't know where I stand in the issue. And because, it's backed up by a lot of names that are trusted in the Philippines, a lot of names that, we are respected, like yours and Catriones and Jessica Sohos and Irwan, Yusaf, and all of these huge names, di ba, parang, you can't help but think if this is an issue about, like cancel culture or whatever, but I'm very, very glad that you stand, with the Filipino culture. I'm very, very happy to hear that from you. And I think that, once this gets ironed out, diba, parang there is a reason for all of this. But I think education is really key to everything that, and I think that part of being you as a generous artist, diba? Parang for you to share your craft and to share your generosity. I think intentions sometimes are, misinterpreted. But I think that, this is a good way of, streamlining so that, none of us are exploited, none of our culture is, parang taken
Yeah.
advantage of. And I'm glad that you stand with the Cornerstone team with Catriona because she released a statement earlier. The Cornerstone released a statement earlier, and we were sort of thinking like when you were going to release a statement.
But yes, I stand with my people. I stand with Kat, and but I also feel like I just have to share what I feel the heart of the NAS team was
Yes.
with my program, with my academy.
Okay.
Of course, I can't speak for anyone else, but with my experience, I know that their hearts were really to educate and um, to bring light to the talents of the Filipino people. I know that their hearts, the intention behind it was really to educate. Pero yun, may mga na-miss and may mga na-misinterpret. And I'm not invalidating the experiences of others. Of course, that's their experience. But with my experience with NAS, um, I have grown so much love and respect for them, especially with how they treated me. It wasn't just like we're Nas Academy, you have to comply. We got
Mm.
you. It's never like that. It was always like it's such an honor to be working with you. This is how we're not gonna release anything unless you're happy. Um, but yeah, I can't speak for whatever happened to them. But yeah, I just wanted to say that because the team that worked with me, I've really grown to love, and I feel very sad for. Um, but yeah, I stand where I stand.
I think that's a very, very fair statement. I think that's a fair assessment of what's going on, what's happening. I feel like, syempre, diba, we're so quick to judge and everything. That now that, we have somebody like you who's very objective and, speaks experientially, then we can more or less make a more informed decision. So thank you for that. Thank you for clearing that up. And of course, I'm not gonna let you go without, like sabi sa akin ni Mac, kantahin mo yan. I wanna ask you for two songs. So, syempre, di ba, Moira, I wanna ask you for a song a go-to song of yours that you wanna sing to all of your friends. Kasi syempre, di ba, 4 days na, 5 days na ba tayo? 4 days. 4 days in lockdown, 5 days in lockdown. Syempre, babalikan namin yung mga kanta mo. And then I'm gonna ask you for another song that is not yours, that inspires you, that makes you feel that life amid the lockdown is worth living. So one song from you and one song that you love that isn't from you.
Lord, song that's not sure.
O sige, yung from you muna. Yung from you muna. Siyempre, asa na lang ako na yun yung favorite song pa from you.
Wait,
Say hi to Jason pala for all of us.
he's downstairs.
Okay, sige. From you, your favorite song of yours.
Okay. This is a song that I wrote for my anxiety.
Okay.
Not released, called
Oh, wow.
Love, I am right here. Don't you believe what the enemy tries so hard to make you believe? You're not alone and never will be. 'Cause even when you feel lost, you'll be found in me. I hear all your cries, I know all the lies. Stay with me. And don't just close your eyes. Don't be afraid. I'll take all the bullets for you. Though you feel tired, you're safe from the waves. 'Cause I'll be holding you. I won't let go of you.
Okay, so we had a little bit of trouble with Moira while she was singing. And I mean, like, I'm gonna bring her back in just so we can say goodbye. It's been an hour, and let us wait for her to come back in. Let me check. That was Bullets, by the way. Bigla siya nawala. So we're gonna try and bring her back in for a proper goodbye. Ayan. That was Bullets. For those that know. Ayan. Okay, so that was Bullets. It was beautiful. You're such a gifted singer. And to send us all off, one song that is not from you, that inspires you, that makes you feel good, and that you would like to leave for all of us that listen to you during this time. Sabi ni Moyne, ano ba yung song na yun?
Nasa album siya hot, so hindi ako nakikinig.
Oh, so ano naman yung song na not from you, but inspires you a lot? And let's leave with that.
Um,
BTS daw.
I wish. There yet. I will get there.
Sige. Hi, Jason!
Ay, hindi po si Jason yan. Si
Ay, hindi ba
Ate
si
Lynn.
Jason? Kasi ko nandiyan.
Pogi mo daw.
O sige, si Moira will leave us with a song that inspires her.
Oo nga. Pata ka ni Ate. Ate G3. Puro. Ate, anong want?
Anong?
What song do you want me to sing?
Actually, ang gusto ko talaga, gusto kong sabihin sa'yo, Sundo. Pero bahala ka na. Siyempre, di ba, choice mo na yan.
I think that I can do.
You can do that? Oh my God, kikiligin ako super.
Halata bang very dependent ako kay Jason pagdating sa chords?
That's very cute, actually. O sige, are you gonna do Sundo?
Yeah.
Oh my God, kinikilig ako already.
I sang this set when we first met.
Oh my
In Julia.
You know, this is a worship song, right?
Po?
This is a worship song. It can be a worship song.
Sundo?
Oh!
Mom!
Pakinggan mo yung lyrics. Perform it now.
All. Tatry ko muna. Tapos pag hindi siya.
Sige. Go. Excited na me.
Okay. Kay tagal ko buo. Mali yung chords, ate. Wait.
Kaya mo? Okay lang?
Paakyat na yung asawa ko.
Sige, antayin natin si Jason. It's such a personal, kasi pag like when you listen to it, it's a personal song. Para siyang, alam mo yon, para siyang, di ba, alam mo yung parable ng 99 sheep? Tapos hinanap niya yung isa. Parang when I hear this song, it reminds me of that. Yung kay tagal kong sinuyod ang buong mundo. Parang ganon.
Ang ganda. I've never seen it that way.
And then I made Casey Concepcion sing this song. So, ang ganda rin ng version niya. Super.
My idol, my very first idol in the Philippines was bagong gising kami. Wait, I'll try first. I feel like I remember.
Sige.
Kay tagal kong sinusulit ang buong mundo para hanapin ka. Nilibot ang distrito ng iyong lumbay. Pupulutin ka. Sinusundo kita. Sinusundo. Asahan mo mula ngayon pag-ibig ko'y sa'yo. Asahan mo mula ngayon pag-ibig ko'y sa'yo. Ngunit ang pangarap mo di ko kulangin ang ibibigay. Isuko ang kapal, tuluyan kang bumitaw. Ika'y manalig ka. Sinusundo kita. Sinusundo. Asahan mo mula ngayon, pag-ibig ko'y sa'yo. Asahan mo mula ngayon, pag-ibig ko'y sa'yo. Sa'yo, sa'yo.
Thank you. What a beautiful gift you left us with tonight on the first week of lockdown. Maraming salamat, Moira. Like, as usual, I learned so much from you. Thank you so much. Maraming salamat for the time that you gave me. I want to thank Cornerstone. I want to thank Mac Morla. Of course, I want to thank Moira Dela Torre for giving me an hour of her time, advice, answers, and everything. Maraming salamat. I look forward to the day that I see you again performing on stage.
Thank you, Ate. And I just want to say that you are one of the very few people that I completely feel safe with, and I absolutely enjoy speaking with. And in the 2 times that we've spoken in the last 2 weeks, I have learned much. You have this amazing way of piercing the heart with your words and showing so much compassion. And thank you, because you make me and so many other people feel so seen and loved. And I pray that you always remember that you are heard, seen, and loved, and you are such a blessing to us. We love you. Thank you
I
so
hear
much.
you, I see you, I love you. I'm going to see you again soon. Good night. Thank you so much. It is an honor to speak to you tonight and to hear you sing.
Thank you.
Good night, my love. Bye.